Hey there, listeners. Happy holidays. It's Marcy and Jenny from Studio B.
Howdy, y'all.
We're so happy to be with you. And we're also excited to share with you our very first audio tour. And this time around, we're going to be at
Dickens Village.
which we all know you know and love, but you probably haven't ever taken an audio tour. So, if you're going to do it in real life, you can stand right in front of the Dickens Village sign on Maplewood Ave.
I wouldn't say press play because they're already listening.
Get ready. I hope you've stretched. Well, hey, Jenny.
Hi, Marcy.
What are you doing here?
Well, I just wanted to take a little tour of Maplewood's Dickens Village.
Oh my God, that's the same thing I'm doing here.
Oh, well, I'm glad we're both here at the same time and standing in this pile of rock salt.
There's so much salt. And in fact, here comes a little group of cute kids coming by. Hi, guys.
Oh.
So we're at the corner of Maplewood Avenue and Dickens Village, which isn't a real corner. But it's our
AKA
little
the
corner.
busiest intersection of the universe.
Yes. And on this little triangle, which is also known as Rickleton Square.
Well, it's not a trapezoid.
Yeah, it's like a Rickleton's parallelogram.
Yeah, that's more accurate.
There's a lot of Christmas folklore, and one of them is a manger scene.
Yes.
One of them is a giant menorah.
Yes.
We have a Christmas tree,
Yes.
and we have our beloved Dickens Village.
Ah, yes.
Look at this. What a magical place this is.
It's a wonderland of tiny houses.
The houses are tiny. I thought I was suddenly gigantic.
Well, you are wearing platform shoes today.
This is not something you see in every town, right?
No. I mean, few towns have this quaintness. I mean, malls do. Shopping malls do. But
Shopping malls are quaint as hell.
this might have come from a shopping mall, actually, and just been transplanted here. But
Did you order it on eBay? Because my understanding of this is that this village has been here for some hundreds of years.
yes, George Washington once slept here
Yeah, there was a male
in the Starbucks,
posse that went through here. They used the bathroom at Starbucks.
as you do.
And they came over here to celebrate the early Christmas celebrations back in the day.
And took a tour, maybe, of Dickens Village, and
Took
maybe
a tour.
walk the very same steps that we're walking today
So we're going to tell the story of A Christmas Carol.
through the tiny houses.
We're walking to the right now if you're listening to this in real time in Dickens Village
I'm
itself.
crunching the salt.
Jenny's crunching. This is our NPR moment. It's so crunchy.
That's so
God,
good.
it's so
kind of
authentic.
Making me hungry.
Oh, yeah. So Christmas Carol was written only in 1843. So Jenny and I kind of came here today. We met, surprisingly at the same time.
Yeah,
But-
around 1847.
But we were trying to understand if there might be something to the theory that Dickens was in Maplewood in the early 1800s and actually got the idea for A Christmas Carol from,
Dickens Village.
yes, which was it called, well, and his name was Charles Johnson. And when he came to Maplewood, he changed his name shortly thereafter to Dickens because of this place,
Oh.
Dickens Village.
Okay.
He always wanted to have
go
a
with that.
village. And so we're at the
He wanted something
nephew's
with a little
house.
more oomph.
He wanted a Dickens. Who wouldn't want to be Dickens? I mean, that's
Memorable
Yeah.
last name.
you have to be tough as nails to put up with that in boarding school. Okay, so we're at the nephew's house, which is a lovely, lovely gingerbread cottage with a heart motif around the shutters.
Is it edible?
Let's break off a little piece.
Nope.
Oh, it's kind of caught in my gums. So
I
we're
think that's
gonna-
a polymer.
It's a polymer with a semi-gloss. Let's look down inside the. Oh my goodness, we're
We're-
scrunched down.
Yeah, we're
And we're
crouching
looking.
down.
Now there's some really interesting.
Two-dimensional
information here.
figures in there.
There's a little candelabra with some very melted candles, but really melted, not like faux melted. Like
Yeah.
they're bent in weird directions,
Right.
which makes
It's
me
to
wonder if
impart some realism.
is it hot in there?
It's at least 30 degrees Fahrenheit in there. That's
Listen.
warm for those times.
So the nephew in the story of A Christmas Carol is one of the hinges that really sends Scrooge into goodness. We all know Scrooge as the original wanker.
Yes. The original Dickens.
The Dickens of the Dickens. And he is a colossal douchebag. And so Scrooge in the story has a sister who isn't really talked about much, but they're all separated, and then she ends up dying in childbirth, and she has this boy.
What?
And this is true.
Wow.
This is true.
Tragic.
And Scrooge says to his
Sucks
sister
to
that
be you.
he will take care of this nephew.
Oh, right. Okay.
He promises his sister this,
Okay.
but he never does.
Bastard.
So this is like guilt exhibit A for Scrooge, who, as we've said, I mean, this is just like, imagine.
He could just get him a PS5 and be done with this.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's really, it seems simple now, but at the time, there weren't any of those things. This is a really lovely little cottage. So Scrooge's nephew here is represented in two-dimensional form.
Oh, I see him. He's in the back there
Yeah.
with the tall collar.
Yeah, he's a real
Jaunty.
jaunty character.
Oh, look, there's an excerpt.
Yeah, there's some excerpts here if you
Oh,
could.
we should read it. If I could work my will, said Scrooge indignantly, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled with his own pudding.
Yes. And this is where we get the famous bah humbug.
Ah. Can we just pause to say one of the best catchphrases of all time?
One of the best. We're heading down the crunchy walk. And now we've arrived at the counting house. Scrooge and
Ooh.
Marley's counting house, which, as we know, is
For counting.
for counting the money.
Let's see if anyone's home. Hello.
Oh, look, there's someone at the door, but he seems frozen.
Oh, he's carrying a golf club.
Would have a hard time believing this is Bob Cratchit, who worked in the counting house, because look, he's looking good.
I mean, he's got like a rosy cheek. He's well fed.
He's well fed. He has a tweed jacket. He has a mustache.
Ralph Lauren outfit. Yeah.
Yeah, he is looking a little Ned Flanders.
Yes, he is.
And, well, what we know is happening here in the story, it's Christmas Eve, and Scrooge is closing down for the day, and Bob Cratchit asks if he can have the next day off Christmas.
The nerve.
Scrooge gets pretty ballistic.
Understandably.
Have we all had bosses like that who are like, blah, 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 blah. Right? I have.
I've had a lot of bosses talk that way.
There's something set
what
up
is-
here.
But wait a minute. Why does Bob Cratchit think that he should have the day off?
Because he wants to spend time with his family.
And he is putting.
What are home, cold and shivering. And also, he's got his little tiny Tim.
Oh, Tim.
Tim has a limp.
God bless us, everyone.
Tim,
Daddy, may I play with your golf club?
no, Tiny. Those are for me golf outing that I'm going to participate in on Sunday.
Blimey.
Blimey, my golf clubs are looking quite shabby.
Bollocks.
I need to take Christmas
Daddy?
off so I can run them over to Golf Galaxy over on Route 10.
Is that the one with the windmill?
It's got a windmill.
Is that the one where you hit it and you get a pint?
When we play a mini golf in Old Britain. So I like the scene in here. It's bare. It's what Scrooge would do.
Mars.
What?
Look on the ground.
A flosser?
It's a mouse.
A real
it's
one?
It's a snack for Bob Cratchit.
Is that a mouse or a rock?
It could just be a hairball. Is there a cat around here?
It might be just a piece of something that fell from the roof.
It's either a turd or a mouse. I don't know which.
Well,
okay.
Boop.
Do 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 do. Boop.
Dee. Now, Scrooge has left the counting house on Christmas Eve, and it's cold. And as he's walking home, he gets approached by people who are asking for money, which we alluded to earlier when you read the passage.
Is this New York City?
It's not New York, it's old Maplewood Village. So this is house number 5 on the right, and it has a very famous knocker.
Oh yes.
I'm also going to point out all
It's
of
the Cowardly
little...
Lion.
Jenny's going to knock it. Oh, that was good.
That was a bouncy
That
knock.
was nice. So what happens here is that Scrooge goes to unlock his door, and in the knocker, this might be an embellishment by some regional theater version of this. I don't know if
Possibly.
this is in the novel.
Yeah.
But Scrooge sees in the face of the knocker the face of
Leona Helmsley.
Leona Helmsley was like, "Stay out of my hotel, bitch." Jacob Marley is Scrooge's former business partner who's dead. And when you peek into the windows here, you're going to see something fantastic, which is the ghost of Jacob Molly.
Ooh,
Molly.
Scrooge.
And then Scrooge says,
Did I catch you at a bad time, Scrooge?
Yes, Scrooge is in bed. He's looking strangely
Colonel Sanders-ish.
Colonel Sanders meets Paula Dean.
Oh, yeah.
A
I
little
could see Paula Dean.
going on.
Yeah.
Scrooge is visited by Jacob Marley, who's there. He looks pretty good. I'd say that they brought in some top costumers to create this little figure.
Oh, it's hard for me to see. Oh, yeah. He's got like a lot of layers, a lot of layering
Mm-hmm.
and draping there.
And draping. I think there's
Yeah,
probably some chains.
I like it. It's very tonal.
He says, "These are the chains I forged in life, link by link, yard by yard." Let me just put a little commercial in that. When I was a child,
Yes.
for 2 years, I was in a version of A Christmas Carol at the Goodman Theater in Chicago, where
Oh,
I played Belinda Cratchit.
you did.
I did. So anyway, this is Jacob Marley. He's telling Scrooge that he's going to be visited by 3 ghosts.
Yeah, totally had it coming.
Jacob Marley's like, "You were such a douchebag that you made me a douchebag, and you were such a douchebag that I now can't be fully dead until
So I'm going
you
to
make.
torment you.
I'm going to torment you all night long." So the first
Sounds like a
ghost-
good plan.
It sounds fine.
Yeah.
Sounds like any weekday
Kind of
to
standard
me.
revenge plan.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much all
yeah.
night long.
You
whether-
know, they stole this idea from Hamlet.
I know, you're right.
Yeah.
Nothing about this story is original
No.
because first of all, he stole it from Maplewood itself.
Totally.
Such a hack. All right. So as we start along the journey, and I'd like to point out all of the beautiful plastic coffee stoppers from Starbucks that are everywhere.
Littering the front doorstep because it's period.
It's period to have all these like little bits of plastic from our really amazing neighborhood chain.
It's a
who-
famous statement about consumerism that Charles Dickens was trying to make.
And interestingly, we can see Starbucks from here, and it's probably the only business that's staying afloat among a very large number of businesses at this end of Maplewood Avenue. So let's just consider that for a minute. Now we're in an unmarked house that if you turn around from the green number 5, Scrooge's house.
We're
you're
at
in a nice
number 4.
Tudor.
Yeah.
You're in a nice Tudor that you could find maybe
Skipping around.
on Durand Street.
Yeah, I want to put this home on the market. I'll make a mint.
Jenny, I think that you could flip this little tiny house, but
I think I could.
You don't have to make it
With
any
a bold
bigger.
wallpaper.
A bold wallpaper and maybe
Statement door.
like a corner couch for
Yeah.
staging.
Right.
You know, like colorful pillows.
You know, there's nothing that a good throw pillow can't fix. Splash of color.
And also, like, if it's got a man cave, you're done. God, this
Sign
place is
me
gonna go
up.
in a second. It's gonna be a bidding war on this little one.
What's inside this? It's a quilt shop that also sells turkeys with
I just
carrots.
realized. Yes, I just saw inside that it's called the Cratchit House.
Oh.
So there you go.
This is where
So-
Bob lives with his
So
family.
Bob is kind of styling. They're popping popcorn,
For snacks.
and
And also just for dinner.
that's what people ate
doesn't-
in Maplewood in the 1600s.
Popcorn for dinner.
The Cratchit House was where Tiny Tim would have lived.
Right. So it's a modest home.
Mrs. Cratchit has a lovely Jello mold on the shelf, which I'd like to point out, and maybe I'll borrow.
For a holiday party. Also some cross stitching. Just as a nod to Williamsburg.
To the Williamsburg.
Not colonial Williamsburg, but Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
So we're heading around
Okay.
the corner of the Cratchit House. We're looking at, again, some more of the stoppers on the grass from Starbucks. We're going to take a brief stop at the conservatory, which
Oh,
is
ye old conservatory.
and it's nowhere to be found in the original
Nowhere.
Christmas Carol. And there wasn't even a conservatory in the old Maplewood Village.
This looks like it's out of the 1970s.
I think it's just a place to put plants during the winter.
Well, you know, you need a little greenery when you're already outside.
All right, let's keep moving. We're coming around the corner here to the Fezziwig House. This is where the parties happen.
Party. Ooh, ooh.
So-
Get under my hoops, skirt.
So the Fezziwig Ball is the first ghost of Christmas past. The first ghost takes him to an old ball. Everyone loves an old ball.
I mean, who doesn't love an old ball?
I've been
Forget
so
the
many-
new ones. Just
the old balls.
give me the old time balls.
The old balls are so much more fun. And in this case for Scrooge, it was where he met his lady love.
His paramour.
And they met at this ball but he was a super wanker back then. Scrooge used to work for Mr. Fezziwig. And Fezziwig was a lovely, kind-hearted man. And his wife, who's inside, had a big laugh, and she was hilarious.
Yes.
But Scrooge couldn't enjoy the party because he was so excited about going back to his books and counting more money and figuring out how to take over Mr. Fezziwig, which he does later in life.
Oh.
And that's when we get to ghost
What a
number 2.
spoil sport.
I know.
He's not going to
an
get
ass.
invited to any more parties. Did he even bring a hostess gift?
And you know what? If you ask me, never invite a Scrooge to a party.
No.
They kill it.
You know what? There's manners, and then there's just common sense.
Yeah, I mean, even if you were a little quirky and off, you could still love him. But
Wow.
once he's kind of
I don't know
jerky,
if I could love that guy. I mean, who wants to get up on Scrooge?
I definitely wouldn't. Not even for the right
Give it to
price.
me, Scrooge.
So we're coming around the back of the old curiosity shop. And curiously,
Ooh.
this is a lovely yellow shop.
I'm very inquisitive as I look through this
I'm curious.
window here. Oh, it's, wow, all these scary dolls.
There's some
Curious
dolls.
indeed.
There's a lot of large ice skates, human-sized ice skates,
Oh.
which compared to the shop look like they're about half as large.
Yeah.
And there's some interesting graffiti on the door that says Gulf Plus.
Maybe it doesn't feel period.
It's a little out of time for me. I'm having a hard time staying focused on the story because I'm trying to remember.
Maybe the house belongs to Gulf?
Gulf, the oil company?
Yeah.
I think we've seen a lot of dramaturgical
Oh,
questions.
look, a menorah.
Oh, boy, am I glad that this, this is what makes this a truly Maplewood
Yeah,
story.
it does.
There's such an effort to be inclusive, which is, of course, as we know, great. And we're passing a couple more of the stoppers. Wow,
Yeah.
this is just littered incredibly. Thank you, Starbucks. And now here's what's going to happen. When you head sort of back towards the infamous Starbucks inside the lovely Claris, which is just an architectural
An
wonderment.
homage to townhouses.
It's a townhouse like no other. It's a townhouse with like a fake tan and a boob job and whitened teeth.
I think that was the actual inspiration.
I think that's what all of New Jersey's
It's like-
inspiration is. We're walking over to structure number 6. Structure number 6 might be the biggest head scratcher of all.
Yeah, I can't figure out how this fits into A Christmas Carol.
So this is the structure also known as the Women's Club.
Okay.
The Women's Club here, as we might recall a few years back, there was an actual women's club, and it is where the now Woodland is.
Right.
And the Women's Club was a lovely place where women got together and did nice things. They had speakers come, they did little charity events, and
Yeah.
they kind of ran the building into the ground. And let's just face it, it was a shithole.
Well, yeah.
It had a gassy smell. It was musty.
It's character.
But they did the best they could.
Yes, they did.
They kept the curtains on the windows and the mice in the kitchen. And it might have given us violent headaches when we were there squatting, doing shows there for a long time for basically free.
There was a lovely sense of decay and
It was actually quite beautiful.
yeah.
I really liked it. So as it happens with older women who are unwanted, the town at a certain point decided the women of the Women's Club hadn't paid enough taxes and back taxes.
Oh.
And to make a long
Is
story
that like
short,
a back comb?
yes, they kicked the women out of the Women's Club, and they eventually bought the Women's Club, which we all know is there. But the women of the Women's Club, as a sort of parting gift and sort of as a fuck you, were given this little cute house to be put into Dickens Village, a replica
Oh.
of the Women's Club.
It's as a token of their affections.
They're infections.
Yes.
So the future historians might be wondering how the Women's Club plays into the Christmas Carol story.
And it doesn't.
It doesn't whatsoever. But I do see a future for it being maybe a concession stand.
Oh, yeah, to sell women's things.
Women's things, maybe tampons.
Or there's little cozies that go over toilet paper rolls.
Yes, or home waxing kits,
Ah.
which you have some experience with.
We don't like to talk about that story on air.
It's still one of the best stories that ever was.
It's a two-man job, I tell you. It's a two-man job.
Enough said. So, anyway, we do want to point out something beautiful about the women's club structure. It has a picture of.
Oh, look at that little group picture. They're all reading the newspaper, but looks like they're only sharing the one.
Yes, well, they only gave all of the women one paper.
One newspaper, and they'd have to pass it.
Like,
get a little wrinkle by the time.
yeah, I mean, you'd be wasting perfectly good paper
know.
on all of these women, and god damn it, if we were going to do that. It's very nice, and strangely, there's a gavel on the table, which I've never seen before.
Yeah, that's to
The other thing about the women's club,
bring this business to order.
it's also got a life-size rocking chair. So if you were to... I mean, I give it up to the women of the women's club. The women's club actually started over the Maplewood movie theater.
What?
So if you turn towards the Maplewood movie theater, which we can say, sadly, that has closed.
Yeah, it says closed until further noticed.
And we all know what that means. Never again. The women's club was started in an office over the Maplewood movie theater, which at that time was not a movie theater. It was a large vaudeville house. And now, strangely, if you were to stand up in their former office and look down, this is all you'd see. This little replica.
And now, the Maplewood Women's Club is forever part of the Charles Dickens lore.
All right, so we're coming around. We're crossing back over the and we're heading back towards the nephew's house. Now, what we know happens at the end of the story, and this is what makes it so Christmassy. Somehow we don't know why Christmas is about redemption, but Victorians were mad for stories about, like, lessons learned, because they were really hot to trot about, like, sort of shaming and punishing people. That's the weird thing about...
They have that in common with the Baptists.
They have it in common with the Maplewoodians. So the Victorians, what they wanted people to realize was the error of their ways. So Scrooge was the perfect foil for this. He gets visited by ghosts. The last ghost shows him his own death.
Yeah.
His own lonely grave.
Yeah.
Scrooge wakes up in a cold sweat, orders a big turkey, and that's going to be the
It's
final
like,
scene.
sorry, everybody. I'm living forever, bitches. Never gonna die.
Can I buy my way back into your hearts? So he comes to the grocer shop, which is the final stop on our trip. And in the grocer shop, which is building number 10, right against Maplewood Avenue, right up on the sidewalk, you'll see inside a very diminutive little scene.
Yeah, all kinds of things you can buy in this store.
There's calico.
You can buy cloth mushrooms.
You can buy a very plasticky looking beef.
Plastic mixed nuts, because a plastic macadamia nut
is the best.
It's delicious.
You don't even have to shell it. Again, there's a large pair of ice skates that would fit 4 of the feet.
Easily. That's like a size 14.
That's the biggest pair of ice skates I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But in the shop itself, there's
That's
a
what the kids go sledding in.
Yeah. There's a lady who's just adorable. She's facing
She's face
the
planted.
tree. She's planted face first into the Christmas tree, which has pineapples on it. She might need help. The man standing next to her with an
He's
armful
like,
of
oh,
packages.
that happens all the time.
She'll have to take care of herself. I've got places to go.
I've got my parcels.
I've got my parcels. And the other thing is I have a strange skin condition.
Called sunburn.
I've got a sunburn in old Dickens Maplewood. So there's a lot of meat. There's sausages. And then here we
Evaporated
have
milk.
the final image of this little house is what's hanging in the window. There's a turkey.
A giant splayed turkey.
And the turkey is as big as the characters in the actual house.
That's true.
And that turkey is going to be delivered to Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim and his... Let's not forget about Belinda Cratchit. She was a very important sub-character.
True.
So this is the thing. They're going to take this turkey over the Cratchits. Scrooge pops out and he says, Bob Cratchit, I thought I told you to come to work today. And Bob Cratchit goes, oh, sir, I thought you told me I don't have to work today. And Scrooge says,
surprise!
Surprise, Cratchit. He says, not only do you have the day off, you can take the rest of the week off with pay.
Pull my finger.
Then the turkey gets given to them. And now, looping back to the beginning of the story, Scrooge takes his nephew up on this invitation to come to dinner at his house for Christmas dinner. I would love to have you for Christmas dinner, Uncle Scrooge.
Oh, yay!
And they go and
But don't sit next to me.
we put Scrooge on dishes after the dinner. So
You kind of stink.
So that's the end of A Christmas Carol. Now, we hope you have enjoyed it.
I feel redeemed.
You know, redemption is only for men. So, first of all, I want you to get rid of that sensation. All right, Jenny?
Oh, sorry.
You should know better.
Yeah.
If you would truly redeem yourself, you would go around and pick up all these little plastic coffee stoppers.
Maybe we should.
This has been a fun Christmas holiday
Yeah.
to spend with you, Jenny.
Oh, and with you, Marcy. I'm so glad we did this. I learned so
I
much.
can't believe we just bumped into each other over here.
I know.
Well,
with microphones.
I know. Well, I'm here a lot, so
Yeah.
this is kind of my
Do you
happy
work
place.
inside the?
I'm actually a frontline worker in Dickens Village. We are living in a special town with miniature villages.
And a lot of holiday spirit.
We love this town to the extent that we're allowed to make fun of it. That's sort of just what we.
That's our right.
Our job.
Because we pay taxes.
Oh, look, there's someone.
Oh,
honking
I think
for a
they're honking
parking
at
spot.
us. The friendliness.
I
just
love Christmas.
Yeah.
It makes me happy. But anyway, Jenny, thanks for taking the tour, and thanks for giving the tour.
Thanks for being you. Thanks for knowing A Christmas Carol.
I do. All right, till next time, we'll bring you another audio tour. Bye, everyone. We miss you. We love you.
Okay.
My hand is so cold.
Mine is too.
Oh.